Over the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you some important behaviors that will help you demonstrate a growth mindset when receiving critical feedback. Now, research does show that people with high emotional intelligence abilities are capable of receiving critical feedback both gracefully and elegantly. So let's explore what these behaviors are. The first and foremost is to actively listen with the intent to understand, not to defend yourself. If you've done the groundwork on your emotional agility, then the chances are that you're going to be able to listen with more of an open mind. So what does active listening involve? Well, firstly, active listening requires that you pay full attention to the feedback without interrupting or becoming defensive, where you justify or explain away your actions. And secondly, it's where you're showing you're being present, for example, by maintaining eye contact, nodding, and using verbal cues. For example, I see or I understand. Be mindful of any of those physical cues that indicate you're going into defensiveness. For me, this is a flush on the cheeks and the urge to want to interrupt or defend myself. Instead, I do some slight deep breathing, settle myself down, and bring myself back to the present moment where I'm focusing on the feedback giver. Taking notes while actively listening allows us to focus on areas requiring clarification, which brings us to the second aspect. Start by genuinely appreciating the feedback, no matter how tough it was, and seek permission to clarify any unclear points. For example, thank you for your insights. Would you mind if I clarify a few areas? Now, reflective listening is one way to clarify. Repeat the feedback in your own words and reflect on the emotions behind it. For example, so if I understand correctly, you feel the presentation lacked key points. I can see why that's concerning. Comprehensive data is crucial. This shows you're actively listening and empathizing. You can also work with open-ended questions. These begin with what, where, why, and how. Close-ended questions limit the other person's responses to mostly yes or no, whereas open questions allow for more detail. When asking questions, remember these important points. Firstly, don't ask in a defensive way or use the questions to make the feedback giver feel attacked. Keep your tone calm and non-defensive. Second, be patient with yourself and the other person. Sometimes it takes time to work through any confusion. And third, be specific. Don't ask vague general questions. For example, instead of asking, what do you feel I can do to improve? Ask, what specific sections do you feel I can elaborate on? This invites the other person to express their thoughts freely and contributes to your learning and growth. Now, working with these guidelines, you're assured of an elegant process. And it may take time to develop this art of demonstrating the growth mindset in the face of critical feedback, but please keep working with it. And until we chat again, take care and stay aware.